Hi, Assalamualaikum Doctor. My name is Zulaika. So I'm gonna do part B lab video. So for part B, it is about the HTTP trees in this part. Explore more aspect of the HTTP protocol, which is the basic GET response interaction, HTTP message format, and retrieving HTML files with embedded objects. So for the B1, which is the basic HTTP GET response interaction, we have to open the packages file, which is lab1 http b01, which is I have opened it. So required to search http and press enter. So for the question, what version of HTTP is the server running? So the version of HTTP is the server running, we can see here that this is the 1.1 version of the HTTP. So for the second question, what is the IP address of the client computer? We can see the client IP address, which is this from the source IP address, which is 192.168.1102. And the third question, what is the IP address of the gaia.cs.umass.edu server, which is we can see here 128.119.245.12. It is the IP address of the gaia.cs.ums.edu server. And for the fourth question, how many bytes of content are being returned to client browser? So if we want to see the bytes of content which is being written to client browser, we click the line, and then we can see here that the content length is 73, which is mean 73 bytes. So the fifth question, what is the status code returned from the server to client browser? So for the frame 12, the status code that returned from server, which is the server is 128 server of the gaia.cs.umass.edu server, which is the 128.119.2.245.12, which is it returns 200 OK. And for frame number 14, from the server to the client computer, which is 404 not found. So for the B2, which is the HTTP conditional GET response interaction, so we need to open the second files. So for the first question, inspect the contents of the first HTTP GET. So for the first question, inspect the contents of the first HTTP GET request from your browser to the server. Do you see an if modified since line in the HTTP GET? So if you can see here, there is a GET, but there is no if modified since line in this line. So for the second question, inspect the contents of the server response after the first GET request from client. Did the server explicitly return the contents of the file, and how can you tell? The server did return the contents of the file because it responded the message with 200 OK, which means the request succeeded. We can view the contents of the file here, which is it means confirmation. Again, now you download the file lab2.html. The file last modification date will not change. Thus, if you download this multiple times on your browser, a complete copy will only be sent once by the server due to the inclusion of the if modified since field in your browser HTTP GET request to the server. So for number 3, now inspect the contents of the second HTTP GET request from browser to the server. Do you see an if modified since line in the HTTP GET? If so, what information follows the if modified since header? So We click this line and we can see it has if modified since line here, which is Tuesday 23 September 2005 5:35. Next, for the fourth question, what is the HTTP status code and phrase returned from the server in response to this second HTTP GET? Did the server explicitly return the contents of the file? The server did not return the contents of the file as the status code returned is the 304 not modified, which means the content of the file is still the same. So for B3, which is HTML documents with embedded objects, we need to open lab1 http3 b03 file. So for the first question, how many HTTP GET request messages did client browser send? We can see here that is 3 HTTP GET message that the client browser sent. So to which internet addresses were these GET requests sent? We can see here that the first HTTP GET request sent to the destination port is 128.119.245.12, and the second HTTP GET message sent to 165.193.123.218, and the third HTTP GET request is 134.241.6.82. So any bytes of content are being written to client browser for the person, logo, footer, gift, which is this one. Oh no, this one. So at this, when the content are being written to client browser, we can see the content length here is 3,357 bytes. And the fourth question, how many bytes of content are being written to client browser, which is this one. We can see the content length is 15,642 bytes. That's all for part B. Thank you. So for part C, it is about the DNS trace, which is the NSLOOKUP tool allows the host running the tool to query any specified DNS server for a DNS record. So we need to open the command prompt and run NSLOOKUP on the command line. So for the first question, run NSLOOKUP to obtain the IP address of a www.microsoft.com server. What is the IP address of that server? So I get the IP address is 161.139.250.2 according to the command prompt. So the second question, run NSLOOKUP to determine the non-authoritative DNS server for domain Microsoft exclusion to answer. So this is the non-authoritative DNS server for domain Microsoft.com. So for the next question, which is the part 3, the tracing DNS with Wireshark. So so the first question, we need to open the DNS trace1 file, and the first question is locate the DNS query and response message. Are they sent over UDP or TCP? Add screenshots to your answer. As we can see here, they are sent, the DNS query and response messages are sent over TCP, which is the transmission control protocol, as you can see here. So the second question, what is the destination port of the DNS query message and what is the source port of DNS response message? So this is the DNS query message, and the destination port for the DNS query message is 53, and for the DNS response message, this is the DNS response message. As we can see, the source port is also 53. For the third question, to what IP address is the DNS query message sent? Add screenshots in your answer. So, what IP address is the DNS query message? So this is the DNS query message. The IP address that is sent is 128.238.29.23. So the fourth question is, examine the DNS query message. What type of DNS query is it? Does the query message contain any answers? So as you can see, this is the DNS query message. So to see what type of the DNS query is it, we can see down there in the drop down. It said here it is the type A, and it has no answer as the written answer ours is 0. So it is a type A and there is no answer. So the fifth question is, examine the DNS response message. How many answers are provided? What do each of these answers contains? So for the DNS response message, this is the DNS response message. So as we can see here, in the answer RRs has 2 answers, and we can see the answers content, which is this is the answers content. Next is consider the subsequent TCP SYN packet sent by your host. Does the destination IP address of the SYN packet correspond to any of the IP addresses provided in the DNS response message? Add screenshot to your answer. So as you can see here, the IP address here 132.151.6.75 and 65.246.255 and 5 is provided by DNS server for the www.ietf.org, which is here. You can see it here. So for the seventh question, this web page contains images. Before retrieving each image, does your host issue new DNS queries? So the answer is no, because the images are loaded for www.ietf.org. No additional DNS queries are required. So for the next question, we need to open the packages file, which is the DNS-trace2 file. So for the eighth question, what is the destination port for the DNS query message, and what is the source port of the DNS response message? As we can see here, this is the DNS query message. So the destination port is it is the destination port, which is, you can see here, it is the 53, and the source port of the DNS response message, which is this one, and we can see here the source port also 53. So for the next question, to what IP address is the DNS query message sent? Is this the IP address of your default local DNS server? Add screenshots to answer. So for my default local DNS server, as I have find it with my command prompt with ns lookup, it is the 161.139.250.2. That is my default local DNS server. And for the DNS query message is sent with, which is 128.238.29.22. So it is not same. So the 10th question, examine the DNS query message. What type of DNS query is it? Does the query message contain any answers? So as we can see, this is the query message. So what type is it? It is the type A and there is no answers. And the last question, examine the DNS response message. How many answers are provided? What do each of these answers contains? So this is the DNS response message. And it has one answers, and you can see this is the answers contained in this response message. That's all from me. Thank you.